I was really pumped up and excited to go to Baku, Azerbaijan. That flight from Sofia, Bulgaria over the Black Sea into Haydar Aliyev International was pleasant enough. Luckily, we had a nice stewardess. And there, waiting for us, were those fancy London taxis. They whisked us to our lovely hotel overlooking the Caspian Sea. You could see the city outside of the left, the airplane as we flew in. The beautiful Riviera. I believe it's going to be almost 30 miles long, where you can walk continuously, anchored by many parks, hotels, shopping centers. Yes, it's controversial, Azerbaijan. I mean, after all, it's a new country. They signed all their oil contracts in 1994 and never looked back. The money's just been pouring in. And so what? If there's corruption, nepotism, why should a visitor care? The city's safe, it's clean, the food's good. So, from what I could see, President Ilham and his wife, his vice president, are doing a great job. I mean, Putin a few weeks ago was sucking up to them and complimenting them on how great the city looked. He hadn't been there in 6 years. It's almost 2.5 million people. I think the thing that impressed me the most was the boulevard along the Caspian Sea. Work on this, of course, started 100 years ago, and it's just steadily improved. They've made a fantastic decision by setting the road far, far away with at least 3 concourses, a beach, a boardwalk, and then a terraced park-like setting with numerous restaurants and venues. I think there's like 3 malls along the walk and numerous hotels. I mean, soon there's going to be going in a huge fountain in front of a 7-star hotel. The city's certainly come alive with the fact that there's going to be the Grand Prix there next month and then COP29 in November.
Yeah, it looks like that's a nice track for a Grand Prix. I was wondering what all those fences were. So it's like Las Vegas.
The population's young, they're friendly, they're well educated. Like this scientist that I met at the Welcome Center for COP29. I think he has 3 degrees. He explained to me what's going on with the Caspian Sea and answered all my other questions. Very impressive. You walk along that boulevard along the Caspian Sea as the sun sets and it slowly gets dark, and then those flame towers ignite in the distance. You say to yourself, wow. One interesting computer to synchronize flames in a building that size. Wow. I've never felt so special or so privileged and comfortable in any other city in the whole world. I mean, where Dubai is just sprawling, it's like some 30 miles just to get from one end to the other, and everything seems to be so spaced out and crowded. Baku is compact. Where Tbilisi seems like the Wild West, politically unstable and rough around the edges, Baku seems safe. Where Armenians have numerous grievances and they don't like any of their neighbors, they seem to be fighting all the time, you don't feel that at all with the people there in Azerbaijan. They're very nice. They seem happy. They seem content. And I really enjoyed meeting many of them.
flames. This can't be dead. Yeah, this place, it's got a really nice vibe. Really nice vibe.
I started out at the Caspian Sea. It's almost 100 feet below sea level, so you actually feel a little energized with the extra oxygen. There's this beautiful mall called Dennis Mall. It looks a lot like the Sydney Opera House.
It's a long way down there. But, I don't know, I'm pretty old now, so I'd probably be better off just checking in here and play Lego. Looks more my speed. Actually, this might be more my speed. Man, I used to really like doing this stuff when I was a little younger.
From there, you can walk across the street through this lovely marble underpass and catch the Baku funicular.
That's funny. 50 cents for popcorn.
It takes you up to Highland Park. It was pretty hot when I went. I was surrounded by Russians. And there on the top, on the right, was the Mosque of the Martyrs. Beautiful mosque. It's a gift from Turkey. There was no one there when I went, so I was able to take in the view, wash my hands, go inside, and just enjoy the beautiful colors. Then it's a short walk to the Alley of the Martyrs. This is perhaps the most beautiful and touching thing that I saw in Baku. It's quite clear that they lost a lot of good men in their war with Armenia and what the Russians did to them. Yeah, between 1990 and 92, that was some sad times. From there, you see the eternal flame, and then a beautiful view of the harbor. Even their royal family took a picture here once, so of course I had to get a photo, take a selfie, and take in the view. There in the distance you see their famous flagpole. Apparently it used to be the highest in the world, but then Turkmenistan and Saudi Arabia upped them, so they had to get a new contract. I think Germany's building this current one, and it's over 600 feet high. It's just amazing, and I suspect that base, they could probably peel it away and make it even higher if someone tries to outdo them. But what a magnificent flagpole!
Symbolism here, the way they've laid everything out, it's just impeccable. You got the flame, eternal flame. You got the martyrs, and then you got the big flame. Oh yeah. Now they've really got it dialed in around here. Just look at the size of that flagpole. That mall was amazing. So that is the highest flagpole in the world. It was so high it fell over and they fixed it. And then that is where they had Eurovision 2011-25. They built that in 6 months. They could hold 50,000 people. And she's saying that those right there is a 7-star hotel that's going in beside a business center. And if you look right between it, you'll see the gas go off and burn off. Yeah, see, that's a symbol of Azerbaijan. There's 7 countries that surround the Caspian Sea.
From there, I grabbed a quick lunch in the Flame Towers, the Fairmont Flame Towers. Lovely hotel. Loved it in there.
Going for a nice walk here.
Baku really knows how to make lentil soup. Way better than Turkey. The next morning, I was off to see the most distinctive cultural symbol of Baku, the Maiden Tower. It is seen on their 1 manat and 250 manat currency notes. The structure could be almost 2,000 years old. Its history is the history of Baku. It is as tall in height as the Caspian Sea is in depth below sea level, about 97 feet. What makes it so interesting is that it is a 4-in-1 complex, reflecting religion, science, and architecture. There are rectangular windows on the side positioned to predict seasonal movements of the sun. It could serve also as a defensive structure or refuge during a siege, holding about 200 people in comfort, since there is a well on the second floor with lots of space for weapons and food storage. Lastly, it's a lookout tower to view over the Caspian Sea. In fact, the real name for the tower was not Maiden, but rather the Eye Tower. I was only able to figure this out from a chance meeting with a genius Kazakh professor of linguistic historical geography later in the day. She pointed out that the tower had no inscriptions to go by, so it was only verbal tradition, and it was called the Kuz Kalesi. The Russians didn't perceive the subtle differences in the word I, that is koz, for the word girl, kuz. Particularly since there was an old fanciful Zoroastrian story about a fiery maiden that saved Baku from slavery. The word kuz stuck. On a side note, I believe that C.S. Lewis borrowed heavily from Azerbaijani folklore in his Chronicles of Narnia. The Eastern Sea is actually the Caspian Sea, but he took that name to name Prince Caspian. And if you look at a lot of these maps, Narnia is Azerbaijan on the western shore of the Caspian Sea. From there I had to walk over and see the Double Gate. After all, a week earlier we got to see the Iron Gate in Serbia. And in February I was able to shoot a video of the gates of Refadim. Yeah, so we made it to the Iron Gate. We've heard of the Persian Gate. And then there's the gates of Refadim, but this is the Double Gate of Baku. The Double Gate. Unbelievable. Love that. They worship the lion and an ox. Wealth, prosperity. It's like the Grand Prix is going to go through here. Within the old city, there's lots of art, both outside and in the shops. The Palace of the Shirvanshahs is at the top of the hill. There's a couple of old tombs up there that have been rebuilt. Soon it was time to cool off, and luckily I found a nice coffee shop. Yeah, I was just dying out there. It's 90 degrees, so I just walked into the place. They gave me a free thing of water with ice. They made me a virgin Baku mint julep. Oh, that's funny. From there was a $3 bolt ride that took me to the Haidar Cultural Center. It's such a futuristic appearing place, you think you're in a movie set. Love it. The musical section alone was worth the visit. Yeah, I don't know. I got mixed emotions about this kind of music. I never knew that zurnas have been used in weddings to celebrate when the bride is removed from the patrimonial home. If only my daughters let me play. Happiness is when your daughter leaves the home and finds a man who makes a living. Then they take a trip that leads to heaven. Happiness is in the Lord. Before leaving the grounds of this lovely museum, one has to take a picture below the hill with the I Love Baku sign. If you have time in Baku, a visit to the Carpet Museum is worth it. It's quite boring, but when you realize that Azerbaijanis' view of carpets are much like how we think about cars in America, then it would all make sense. Where you start out in life with a special carpet when you're born. As a teenager, you might get a loom if you're lucky. You start making carpets, and then you have one when you're married, and then soon there's another carpet as you age. The colors are chosen, the patterns reflect so much what's in your culture. Yeah, I really enjoyed Baku. The place to go at night is Fountain Square. There are restaurants from all over the world, lots of shopping, great place to walk, and street performers.
All these fountains. This is probably what Rome was like. Yeah, so we made it to world famous Fountain Square in Baku, and yeah, it truly is a magical night. I mean, we just had some Turkish food and it was phenomenal. So yeah, no, I just love Baku. Way better than Armenia.
Before catching your flight at the airport, one can get a coffee and a snack in a cocoon. These cocoon pods are reminiscent of the old nomadic felt tents of the steppe. I guess they're called yurts or gur, kisatirs. Yeah, that was kind of a fun little last thing to do. Sit in a cocoon. Now, I think it's time to fly to the other side of the Caspian Sea. Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Kazakhstan are waiting for more discovery. Yeah, it's Pier 62. Space Needle over there. That's going to be the walk from Pike's Place. There's the brand new aquarium. Yeah, it's looking up.